Week 15 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few prospects I look to watch and possibly stash this week. The first prospect, Coby Mayo of the Baltimore Orioles. Coby Mayo, he's going to be up sooner than later for this Baltimore Oriole team. He's been tearing it up all season in AAA. Just the only problem, nowhere to play Mayo really on the roster here. Obviously, third base is occupied. First base has Ryan O'Hearn and Ryan Mountcastle. So if he's going to take some of their playing time, that's the only way I could see him in the everyday lineup, because we've seen the problem with Hester Kjerstad this season. We saw it with Connor Norby. He was up a little bit for this Baltimore Oriole team. But anyway, on the season in minor leagues, 21 home runs, 60 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, a 308 average, a 393 on base, and 49 runs scored. So Mayo, he's available in 87% of fantasy leagues, where some fantasy owners have already anticipated he'll be called up sooner than later. And I think he'll be called up sooner than later here is Coby Mayo, because this Oriole team, they're right on the brink of things, possibly winning a World Series this season. Last year, they had a good year. This season, first in the AL East, and Mayo is another hitter that can help them. So if they can make a trade at the deadline, I believe that's when we'll see Mayo in the next few weeks. Number 15 prospect in the major leagues. Number 3 prospect in the system. Definitely someone to watch this week, because like I said, that power, especially in Camden Yards, could go a long way if he gets an everyday job. Prospect Jacob Wilson of the Oakland Athletics. So Wilson's been tearing it up all season in AAA. He's 22 years old as well. Available 97% of fantasy leagues. Number 50 prospect in Major League Baseball. And the number 1 prospect in this Oakland Athletic system. So in the minor leagues this year, in AAA with Vegas Aviators, 7 home runs, 33 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, an amazing 461 average, and a 494 on base, with 40 runs scored. So right now, Jacob Wilson, he's been tearing it up in AAA, and I believe he's going to be up sooner than later. I know this Oakland team, they're not competing. There's no rush to call these prospects up. But Wilson, only in 2 seasons in the minor leagues, hitting .414. I know it's only been 68 games, but I think we've seen enough down there where they could just call him up and add him to some of these good core players. Langeliers, he's been a solid player. Stordistorm, he's been getting it going a little bit of late. Zach Goloff, and obviously Brent Rooker. So there's some players on this team that has some talent, and Jacob Wilson could add to that core group with this Oakland Athletic team. So like I said, he's a shortstop, one of the weakest positions in fantasy baseball, and he's just been nothing but a hit machine in the minor leagues. Here's Jacob Wilson, and someone that hasn't been touted that much, but over the last few weeks, the noise has gotten louder that he could come up and help this A team and fantasy owners. So right now, number 1 prospect in their system, number 50th in baseball, and available in 97% of fantasy leagues. Next prospect's River Ryan of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So there's a possibility River Ryan, he could come up after the All-Star break with a lot of moving parts in this rotation. Tyler Glasnow, he went on the injured list. We'll see if he's back after the All-Star break. Bobby Miller sent to AAA, and Walker Buehler over the last few weeks has been on the injured list. So River Ryan, he's pretty much done it all in the minor leagues here. Already 25 years old. Got drafted in 2021 by the San Diego Padres, but obviously ended up with this Los Angeles Dodger team. This season in the minor leagues, 0-0 record. 7 games started, 2.21 ERA, 20 and a third, 27 Ks, 0.98 whip. So River Ryan, he hasn't pitched much this season in the minor leagues, but last year he had a 3.80 ERA in 24 games started in 104 and a third. And like I said, this Dodger team, they're hurting in the rotation right now on the major league level with injuries and just guys not performing. And River Ryan, like I said, 25 years old. I think he'll be up sooner than later, and possibly next week after the All-Star break, like I said. And someone definitely keep on the radar, especially with a good Dodger team and an offense that could back him. Maybe he could be a diamond in the rough as Ryan. We saw it last season with Emmett Sheehan. He came up, he pitched great baseball for the Dodgers and Bobby Miller. Maybe River Ryan could be like those guys were last season. So right now, definitely someone to keep an eye on, because if he does come up next week, that percentage is going to bump up quickly. So right now, well, he's available in 99% of fantasy leagues, and you just got to keep an eye out to see if he'll be up next week. River Ryan's definitely a prospect to watch. The next prospect, Bubba Chandler of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Bubba Chandler, possibility he could come up this season. The Pirates dealing with some injuries. Young stud pitcher Jared Jones, he's banged up. He's on the injured list. Bailey Falter, he just went on the injured list. I know Quinn Priester got called up. And even Paul Skienitz, I think they're going to limit the innings a little bit towards the end of the season. But this Pirate team has a bright future in this rotation where they could go Obviously, Paul Skianis, Mitch Keller, Jared Jones, Bubba Chandler, Luis Ortiz. That would be some five-man rotation, in my opinion, where Ortiz just got reinserted in the rotation. He looked good in his last outing versus the Mets. But Bubba Chandler right now available 99% of fantasy leagues. Number 51 prospect on all Major League Baseball. And the number one prospect in this system for this Pittsburgh Pirate team. So on the season, 5-5 record, 3.53 ERA, 14 games started, 63 2/3, 77 Ks, and a 1.01 whip. So Chandler, he's done it all in Double-A. We'll see if they call him up to Triple-A or if he comes up to the Major League club, because right now Bailey Falk is hurt. Quinn Priester just returned from the injured list, and Martin Perez definitely could be a trade chip at the Major League trade deadline, because I think this Pirate team's going to sell. I know they're only 4.5, 5 games out of a wild card swap. I think next season could be the year where the Pirates take the next step, where they can add a couple bats. And if, like I said, you got a rotation next year with Mitch Keller, Skianis, Bubba Chandler, Jared Jones, and Luis Ortiz, that's one of the better rotations, I believe, with major upside going into next season. So right now, Chandler, like I said, definitely near the deadlines, a possibility comes up. And guys have been going down in this rotation, so available 99% of fantasy leagues. And the final prospect, Yano Tiato of the Texas Rangers. So Tiato, he's not even a top 100 prospect in Major League Baseball. And he's a 14th top prospect in this Texas Ranger organization. But this Ranger team, a lot of veterans in the rotation. We'll see if they sell at the deadline or if they go for it. They've been playing better baseball of late. But TDO, right now in Double-A for this Ranger team, he's dominating. 5-2 record, 1.71 ERA, 14 games started, 68 1/3, 89 strikeouts, and a 1.13 whip, and the opponent's batting average of 183. So like I said, I know Max Scherzer, he's been back in this rotation over the last few weeks for this Texas Ranger team. Nathan Eovaldi as well has returned. Then you got guys like John Gray, Michael Lorenzen. But if this Ranger team doesn't think they're going to make the playoffs this season and they want to sell like a John Gray or Mike Lorenzen, there's a possibility TDO comes up to this Major League roster. I know they got other pitchers ahead of him. Obviously, he's the number 14 prospect in the system. Guys like Owen White, Kumar Rocker, I don't know if we would see him this season. Jack Leiter, we've seen him a little bit as well. Brock Porter. So that's some of the pitchers in this minor league system ahead of him for this Texas Ranger team. But like I said, TDO, he's pitching great baseball down there, where he's got a 1.71 ERA away for this Texas Ranger team. And he's already 23 years old, where I think he's seasoned enough to come up and he could pitch in this rotation. So right now, while he's out there in 99% of fantasy leagues, and not many people know about TDO, I think he could help fantasy owners this season. And wouldn't be surprising after the deadline if he's up as well. So that's a few prospects I look to watch and possibly stash for Week 15 of the fantasy baseball season.